Elton, welcome to MasterCard's Priceless Midnight Theater and to the MasterCard Center's Global Inclusive Growth Summit. We are delighted to have you. The audience in Washington, D.C. and all around the world who's watching are delighted to have you. Really, so glad you're here. Thank you for making the time.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. I'm sorry not to be with you today in DC and around the world. I had to have a pesky knee operation, but I hope you are having an amazing and inspirational day. We need your optimism and solutions.
Thank you for that message. Let's talk a little bit about your journey to activism. We all know about the beautiful songs and the music and the career. What was your journey? What led you to start working in the field of HIV and AIDS?
It was Ryan White, basically. I learned about Ryan White in the 80s, and I was reading Newsweek magazine in a doctor's waiting room in New York, and I was outraged to find out what had happened to him and his family. So I got in touch with him, I helped them move, and we became friends for life. And at that point, I was using drugs and alcohol. And I was with Ryan and Jeannie and Andrea the week that he died in Indianapolis. The thing I loved about Ryan, he never complained about anything. He was such a positive person. He didn't blame or moan about his HIV status, even though he got it in the unluckiest circumstances of a blood transfusion. So it made a huge impact on me because I would go back to the hotel room after a show, complain about the furniture and everything like that. My life was not in good shape. I was completely, my values had gone. And of course, being around the White family, my values suddenly really came in front of me, and I thought, I'm living the wrong kind of life here. And I've never met a more inspirational family and a more generous and kind and forgiving family. And so 6 months later, after Ryan passed away, I got sober. And when I got sober, I was determined to give something back and put my energy into doing things for people with HIV and AIDS. And I hadn't done that much in the 80s. I'd done charity concerts and things like that, but I wasn't active enough. And so I was determined when I set the foundation up in Atlanta that we would do good work, we would keep it small, we would make sure that we didn't waste any money. And it's kind of mushroomed from there. And so far we've given over $600 billion away, $600 million away, billion, I wish, 600 million to people around the world. And that's not with matching funds as well. So we've done really well. We've kept ourselves small, and the foundation is now, there used to be so many AIDS Foundation, it's dwindled now. And it's kind of good in a way because we all work together. All the AIDS people work together, World Health Organization, the Gates Fund, the Clinton Organization, the Clinton Foundation. We all work together. And so we've done very well. There's a great aspect that we could be finished by 2030, but we still have an enormous amount of work to do.
Yeah, it's a sprint and a marathon between now and 2030.
Yeah.
I had the pleasure of meeting your husband, David, and it's actually, marriage is something we share in common, not with each other, of course, but I met my wife, Ashley, on a campaign in Texas, and I know that you have been married to David, and now you have two wonderful kids. How has that impacted your...
Well, it all came from me getting sober, which goes back to the Ryan White family and Jeannie and Andrea. And I put a lot of work, I put as much work into getting sober as I did to getting stoned and drunk. And 3 years after I got sober, I met David. And we've been together 30 years now. It'll be 34 this year. And it's been a wonderful, I never thought I'd find love. I never thought I'd have children. I was always saying, I'm too selfish to have children. I'm too set in my ways. And he persuaded me that maybe I was not too set in my ways. And now we have two wonderful boys, Zachary and Elijah. And my life is like so far away from that before I met the White family, or when I went to Ryan's funeral, I was there that week. My life has changed so much. It's just wonderful. I don't have any desire to go back to that way of life at all. In fact, I love waking up in the morning, seeing my children. It's a dream. It's wonderful.
I grew up in a small town in Chesapeake, Virginia, in the South, and I had 4 sisters. and we would, of course, play your music in our little house in the den. My father was a professor, and I always wanted to be Benny, but I always had to be the Jet. And so
Right.
we would sing for hours and hours. And I think that little did I know then that I would be sitting with you here today, sharing a passion for work and sharing a passion for inclusive growth and development around the world. Talk to us a little bit more about how do you see us getting to eradicate HIV and AIDS by 2030? That seems so ambitious.
Well, we have to eradicate a lot of the stigma. We have to get PrEP out there, and we're very optimistic that we do. We got to get people to go into got to get people to go into Walmart and get tested, which people are afraid to go in the doctors. There's the stigma. I don't want to be seen going to the doctors and getting. So they can go into Walmart, get tested as if they were going shopping. We've got to get PrEP out there. We've got to stop people feeling ashamed.
Yeah, the shame.
And that's been our biggest battle the whole
Right.
time. But we're always working towards that and advocacy, and I think we can do it. I'm determined to do it, and with the help of the American government, who've been amazing with PEPFAR, we're very, very optimistic. But I say, you cannot take your foot off the accelerator. You must keep pressing, and you must keep trying to change the values and the opinions of people that think AIDS is dreadful and you can't live a normal life, and the shame associated around it. It's ridiculous what's going on.
It is ridiculous that that the stigma is the thing that's blocking the solution. And I think for the audience here, I know we're running out of time, but I think for the audience here, you're talking to a group of people who are practitioners. They're on the front lines of this work. They're living with helping people through stigma, helping dealing with the stigma.
They are the real heroes.
They
work day to day in the trenches. I mean, I'm a figurehead for what we do, and our AIDS Foundation is tremendous, and we have people working in the trenches. The people that work day to day and help people and try and convince them to get tested, that's the thing. Get tested, and then you'll know your status. Once you know your status, you can live forever. Take one pill a day. Hey, I'd do that.
Well, with my last question is more of an observation, and that is, you have people listening and participating today from heads of state, you have central bank governors, you have people working for nonprofits all around the world, and we've all come together, like you said, to take our piece of the puzzle, to make sure that we're combining the best of what we do together to solve these global challenges.
Well, you need that. You need that. I mean, the great thing about the American government, it's a truly bipartisan thing, the AIDS thing and the PEPFAR thing. It's probably the only bipartisan thing that's going on at the moment. We've worked with Democrats and Republicans, and they've all been amazing. They've all been so helpful. They're still so energetic. They want to solve this as much as I do. And I can't thank the American government enough for all the things it has done. Without PEPFAR, we would be in a terrible situation. That was George Bush, Republican president. And it's a pleasure. I went to Africa last year with David, my partner, and we went with Republicans and Democrats, senators and congressmen. At this point, you put politics aside. This is about humans. This is about human condition and trying to be kind and give people hope. Our motto in the foundation is no one gets left behind. Whether you're a drug addict, whether you're a prison, whether you're trans, whether you're whatever, we are there for you. If you leave people behind, then you start getting into problems. We must help everyone.
You talk about bipartisan, and it does take all sides and all solutions. For those of us who are on the front lines and in the trenches, sometimes it's hard to keep up our hope and keep up our momentum. What's your message to all of us who are really working hard to make this a better place?
Well, the message of love and compassion is so important. Put your arms around people. Show them that there's hope. There is incredible hope with this disease. I mean, it's not as if you're facing the end of the world. We have a cure. We don't have a cure, but we have a solution to live a proper life and a never-ending life. And it's the more you put your arms around people and give them hope. And we live in a crazy world at the moment, and it's a funny old world, and it's a very sad world in certain situations. But through that, the human spirit is a great spirit. And when everything comes down to the wire, people are generous and people are good and they're kind. And I've always found that. So put your arms around people, give them love, give them compassion. Tell them to get tested if they're not sure. That's the most important thing. Get tested, know your status, and then you can have a fabulous life. And you don't have to feel ashamed anymore.
Love and compassion.
Yeah.
Do the things you need to do to make sure you stay well.
Yeah.
Those are all great words of advice. Thank
Thank
you
you.
again.
You're welcome.